Welcome back to this channel. If you're new here, my name is Belinda's channel. Thank you so much for all love and support. Don't forget to please subscribe to this channel, turn on notifications so that anytime I upload videos, you'll be the first person to be notified. To my returning subscribers, to those people that share my videos with commentaries, and also educate you guys are the way MVP. So guys, I came across this video by For You page on TikTok, and I thought to share with you guys where some native people decided to come out to share the reason why they often don't celebrate the Thanksgiving. There is a historical thing behind it, and truth be told, I don't even know about this, and I was so grateful to come across this historical fact. I'm just going to roll the clip as well as some of other stitches I was able to put together. Please leave me your own thoughts in the comment section of what you think of this video. And please do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying and harassment. We are just here for educational and informative purposes. Alright, lovelies, let's dive into it.
In a world that loves to bypass injustice by calling it nuanced or too complicated, let's set Thanksgiving straight. Welcome to episode I don't know which one of Dismantling Colonial Holidays, bringing back the sacred that was desecrated in the footsteps and timeline of the colonial empire, and realizing that most of these holidays are multi-billion-dollar celebrations of mass distraction and overconsumption. The typical Thanksgiving narrative is a horrific misinterpretation and dismissal of the true history of Native Americans and Turtle Island. That's a cat in a tree. Native people and their ancient traditions are being fetishized and appropriated, while weapons of mass distraction are being engaged by the $10 billion consumerist marketing scheme of Black Friday to commence the biggest shopping season of the year. The romanticized and glorified image of the Thanksgiving feast portrays an image of happy and healthy relations between Native people and their colonizers, while in reality these colonizers had been committing acts of genocide for hundreds of years before this event and continued to do so until basically conquering the entire continent. While in the meantime writing in the history books that it was the indigenous peoples themselves who were so grateful for the guns and the weapons of the colonizers that they were hoping to use against one another. Divide and conquer, classic. My last video of this series was about Columbus Day, and at that point, which was 300 years and something before the first Thanksgiving, over 55 million indigenous people had already been genocided. So for many indigenous people and people practicing spirituality that's truly attuned to the land and the organic blueprint of unity consciousness, this is a day of mourning. A painful reminder of the brutal history of colonization, land theft, and cultural desecration. Since the 70s, there's been a National Day of Mourning protest in Plymouth, Massachusetts. And now for the turkey situation, which is an absolute and utter mockery of Native tradition, which not only revered the turkey not just for its meat, but for its eggs and for its feathers, which were used in ceremonial regalia and prayer. But the animal itself also had spiritual and animal totem symbolism woven within the culture. In the 1900s, when Thanksgiving was campaigned to become a national holiday, the turkey was accessorized and placed as the centerpiece of the table, beginning the commercialization of turkey farming. Not only is factory farming generally and utterly horrific, but is also contributing to the decline of the wild turkey population and therefore the indigenous foodways. I mean, it was a great strategy since 46 million turkeys are eaten every year on Thanksgiving, which is generating over $100 billion for this industry. All this to say, may we not be discouraged from gathering together, sitting around a table, celebrating the harvest, and giving thanks for one another and for our life that we are so privileged to experience, but to say, let's bring in the decolonization aspect to understand the true history of the geographical ancestors of this land, host ceremony in honor of their names, of their history, of the true story of what happened at the hands of the colonizers, and may we stand in solidarity with all people of the earth in the face of the same manipulations, the same distortions, and not turn a blind eye to what is being done with our very tax dollars, the modern day version of these same exact acts of genocide, injustice, and the colonial paradigm. I have an amazing resource in my bio that teaches the native tribal names of the various geographical and tribal regions of North America, of Turtle Island. May we learn the names of the land that we walk upon and honor its ancestors and carry this reverence, this prayerful acts of reciprocity and awareness and honoring forward into future generations by cleaning up the past right here and right now in this present moment of giving thanks and taking responsibility for how we are sometimes the puppets of the colonial empire without knowing it. So let's get to knowing that and cleaning that up. If you have any Native, Indigenous resources or know of any small businesses that we can support and share about, please share in the comments. Oh, and
take some time today to talk about Thanksgiving. I think a lot of people weren't ever taught or don't know that for a lot of Indigenous people today, it's not a day of thanking for anything. It's more so like a day of mourning. I think that a lot of us haven't even been taught or don't know that Thanksgiving for Indigenous individuals, it represents a really sad time, a time of genocide, a time of land seizure, a time of betrayal, conflict, genocide, and a lot of violence, treaties that weren't, taken serious. So while you guys are enjoying Thanksgiving, I just want a lot of people to know that for Indigenous people today, it's a very different day.
Thanksgiving is violent, but did you know the violence? The history of Thanksgiving is violent, but did you know the violence was inflicted by a bunch of backstabbers who smelled bad? Not even exaggerating, let me explain. What you heard in school was that native tribes taught the colonizing pilgrims how to survive and grow their own food, and when that food harvested, they all had a feast with the besties. Not exactly the truth. In 1620, the pilgrims leave England for the US to practice their religion away from the haters. But the Massachusetts winter kinda cooks them, so they get sick. On top of that, they don't know how to get food. The land where the pilgrims arrive belongs to the Wampanoag tribe, and that tribe has been going through it immune systemologically. Years ago, the English and French colonizers brought multiple diseases to the land, and the Wampanoag tribe, along with many other native tribes, got infected, losing a majority of their tribe. On top of all of this, the Wampanoag had an op tribe that was messing with them. So Wampanoag chief Massasoit was like, "Hey pilgrims, how about we teach you how to get food and protect you while you watch out for our enemies?" Pilgrims were like, "Okay," and they signed a peace treaty. Pretty soon, the pilgrims were actually growing their own food and not getting sick. To celebrate that, they held a harvest, what we know today as Thanksgiving. But that's when things start to get weird. Now, some historians say the natives weren't even invited. Pilgrims fired gunshots to celebrate the harvest, and the Wampanoags, thinking those were pilgrim enemies, ran off to help, only to see those backstabbing dickweeds didn't even invite them. And the pilgrims saw them and they were like, "Oh, this is awkward. I guess you can join." Now the weirdness gets worse. The pilgrims get better and they invite their peeps from England to join. And like hosts at a house party at 4 a.m., the Wampanoags were like, "Who are these people and why are they taking our shit?" On top of that, the pilgrim newbies were like, "We didn't sign the peace treaty, so I can kill you and I can take your land." So the Wampanoag retaliates and the colonizers declare war. Many members of the tribe lost their life, setting off a chain reaction to genocides. Oh, on top of everything, the pilgrims didn't bathe because they thought it was unhealthy. As if getting unalived isn't horrible enough, imagine your last breath of air being your murderer's BO. So these celebratory feasts started being called Thanksgiving after colonizers would go into villages, unalive everyone, take the land, and have these Thanksgivings as a mental reset from the G side. Thanksgiving evolves into a day of food and gratitude during the American Revolution. Congress designates multiple days throughout the year to do Thanksgivings. Unemployed dudes in 1776 be like, "Bro, you want a Thanksgiving on a Monday night?" Still, some states celebrated it, some didn't. In 1827, a woman named Sarah Hale launched a 36-year-long campaign to make Thanksgiving a national holiday. Talk about the OG Christian girl autumn. Eventually, it was declared a once-a-year national holiday by Lincoln, who used the concept of unity and gratitude to forge unions in the Civil War. As the years went by, its violent history was forgotten. Today, many Native Americans use the day to honor their ancestors and boycott the tradition, while others take its positive aspects like community and gratitude, while acknowledging its bloody history. And smelly. Hope those pilgrims found aluminum deodorant. The history of Thanksgiving is violent.
With today being the day of mourning, or for some people it's Thanksgiving, or just a day to show gratitude, I wanted to bring to your attention because something was brought to my attention and I am very confused, as I'm sure many people are. I have not watched the Macy's Day Parade in years, probably since I was a kid. And the fact that I do not celebrate Thanksgiving, I honor my ancestors and acknowledge the day of mourning. I, of course, didn't watch it this year, but I was very surprised and more like shocked to see that they had Native dancers in full regalia in the parade. I just want to know your thoughts, because for me, I feel like you cannot celebrate both. You cannot include Native Americans and you at the same time cannot celebrate Thanksgiving, whereas Thanksgiving celebrates genocide. And for those of you that don't know, Thanksgiving was a occurrence, the first Thanksgiving with the Pilgrims, second Thanksgiving, the Pe.Ple War, Mystic Massacre, where they locked in an entire village of women and children, and the colonizers burned them. So you are literally celebrating genocide if you celebrate the true meaning of Thanksgiving and don't acknowledge the truth. So again, you cannot have Native American dancers doing ceremonial dances in full regalia and at the same time celebrate Thanksgiving. So for me, personally, as a Native, I'm very confused, and I'm sure a lot of people are confused. I saw a lot of people starting to post videos about it, and they were saying how beautiful it is, and of course the dancers are absolutely beautiful, the dances are absolutely beautiful, the ceremonies are absolutely beautiful and sacred, but how do you have both? How do both share space? Because they're complete oxymorons of each other. Like, it doesn't make sense. And basically, I'm just speaking about this because I want somebody to make it make sense. So please chime in, add your comments, stitch this video, duet this video. I'm very interested to learn about other people's perspectives, and I actually haven't seen any natives really speak about it, because I feel like other people, of course, will think it's a beautiful thing that they are including Native Americans finally, but at the same time, how do you do that when one celebrates genocide of those exact people and the other people are literally mourning due to the atrocities that were committed? And if you don't know about the Pe.Ple War, which is the second Thanksgiving, make sure you look at my video that I made, the one on, one of them literally got muted, but I am going to reshare it in my stories as well, because I didn't know about it until I saw this video, and that means that so many people are unaware. So yeah, chime in, keep it respectful, and let's get this conversation and discussion going.
Thanksgiving. I was raised by Native Americans, and in our culture, we are taught to dislike white people. We're taught not to celebrate Thanksgiving or celebrate being American because of the past. So I've lived most of my life hating white people because of the genocide and the atrocities that were committed when America was first started. Until God came into my life and showed me the truth of all things and softened my heart towards everyone. That's why it makes me sad to hear natives say that they don't celebrate Thanksgiving because of the past. Because I know that God is not in their heart. Satan is. He's clouding their judgment in their minds from feeling the love of God and love of our fellow man. It's okay to honor your ancestors and remember the past, but it's not okay to continue to hold hate and resentment over things that happened in the past. Jesus asks us to let go and forgive for good reason. That hate and resentment hurts only yourself. Our ancestors are in heaven right now, at peace. They don't want us to continue to harbor resentment towards a whole race of people and our country. I would invite everyone to open your heart to God, to celebrate Thanksgiving as gratitude to God for giving us absolutely everything we have. To celebrate Thanksgiving as gratitude for having family and gratitude for being able to have a good family meal with your whole family. That's what Thanksgiving is for. Time to have no excuses, to get all the family together in one house to have at least one meal a year. God has shown me To have Thanksgiving begins with your heart. And I am truly grateful to be an American, to be a Native American, and grateful for my family, and grateful to spend Thanksgiving with my family. I hope everyone can do the same. Happy Thanksgiving.
I am so happy and grateful to the fact that I actually came across these videos because I don't even know about these historical facts. Like I used to tell you guys, I'm someone that's often like to hear or to know about histories, and I have actually tried as much as I can to get myself educated in terms of historical facts. And as you all know, sometimes I also come up here to share some of the things that I research or see in terms of all the stitches that I put here, historical facts, black histories and all of that. So during the course of the Thanksgiving and every other person celebrating, people finding out the hard way, a lot of FAFO and all of these stories and stories. So this particular video that I staged, popped up on my For You page. And the first video was like, oh, people who don't celebrate, the Thanksgiving and all of that. And it stuck on me. Why? Then I decided to make more of my research, and I found out that it was actually, it has a historical background, behind it and behind the reason why they don't. But I think that some of them has actually moved on, and because of they've moved on, some of them are actually celebrating the, Thanksgiving. But what actually struck me was the fact that the historical thing behind it, and the fact that that was actually a period of mourning for Native people. That was actually a period that they were backstabbed and deceived and were colonized, and all of the historical thing that was done to these people, and that was how these European people, came and infected them with some kind of, try to also make them to fight against each other. And at the end of the day, the Thanksgiving is just a way, is a feast, or is a way to celebrate victory, like victory from massacring people and all of that. And I was like, wow, this is a very, very, good historical fact. And it's just so pity that there are some historical things that when you hear like this, you just keep asking yourself like, oh my goodness, And with that being said, there are other people that still celebrate and they've moved on with that. And I also want to use this medium to say, like, it's okay, it's fine. Like, if you're a Native person and you just want to use the period to reflect and to respect your ancestors and what they actually passed through, it's cool. You're like, you're allowed to grieve, you're allowed to respect everything, and I wish everyone has to live them to respect that facts and honor their ancestors and all of that. But when I saw this particular stage, it actually struck me back to a stage I posted here yesterday of a MAGA supporter. I think she's actually a pan-colored woman, and she was like, oh my god, there are some people invading in the land, some undocumented people invading the land, but without her knowing that they were actually the native people who decided to go for an excursion, and she was calling authorities on these people. Like, these people, you actually came to their land, invaded their land, destroy everything that they have built, and you push them to go stay in a particular location. They're probably covered with a lot of mountains and all of that. And these people are just busy doing their business, and you are calling authorities on them, telling people that, or telling whoever you're calling on from that you do not understand their language, or because maybe they don't speak English that you understand. And you were like, they are speaking the language that you cannot understand. Meaning that if someone does not speak what you understand, this person automatically does not belong to the state land, but leaving the fact that you are in a stolen land. And this video still reminds me of another stage I put up here, of this MAGA racist guy. He was like, go back to your country, go back to where you're coming from. But you are in a stolen land. You are in a land that is not actually your birthright. You came from a mountain and somewhere from Europe and invaded people, which even lead them up to today. Some of them cannot even celebrate or have a peaceful celebration of Thanksgiving without them, being reminded of what their ancestors went through. But you are all out telling people to go back to their country. Oh my god, you don't belong here, and what have you? Then be all way and cease. But seriously, when I saw these stages coupled with all of the, celebrations and all of that, I actually had a lot of thinking and a lot of, oh, this is a very, very hard one because it was supposed to be a day of celebration. But there are some people that this celebration day is a reminder of what they actually went through in the hands of the colonizers. And this also has something to do with this good morning. I've done a video here about good morning and how it has a historical background, which a lot of people still have argument towards it. But I've, done some research and all of that, how this good morning is also applicable to good morning. That is why you see a lot of people using grand rising. There is a historical fact with good morning. There is this particular TikToker, my guy, I used to call her my guy girl. You just click on your, TikTok search box, click on my guy girl. You'll see the lady. She actually told a story about her grandmother gave her, told her a historical background of good morning, the way at which these colonizers, after dealing with a family member or maybe unaliving a family member, then these said colonizers will go to the said family member that they unalive one of them to tell them good morning, mocking them like good morning. Like when I heard about that history, I try as much as I can to see if I can get more clarification. I saw a lot of people, especially people debunking it, saying that okay, it has an origin. Why some people do not believe that? But even with that being said, it's just something that everything on this earth has a historical background about it. So that is why when you see some, black people, they don't use good morning, they use grand rising or whatever thing that you want to use. I think I'm also going to do another video on that because I think I posted this good morning thing a very long time. So I think I need to Anyways, when I came across the video, I felt that wow, this is a very good thing to know about. To know all of the historical background concerning Thanksgiving and why these native don't really want to celebrate it. And I just leave it there. Anyway, all of you, so just leave me your own thoughts in the comment section of what you think of this video. And please do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying and harassment. We just here for educational purposes. Like, and I will see you when I upload the next one.